This is Joy News Prime.
Welcome to Joy News Prime, wherever in Ghana or in the world you're watching. My name is Israel Laye. Coming up, deadly meningitis outbreak in Ghana.Video region community claims yet another life, that of a 6-year-old boy, bringing to 8 the number of deaths so far. Clients of microfinance firms recently shut down by Bank of Ghana stage demonstration in another Ghana.Video region town, Brekum, vowing to ensure no government institution or bank operates in the area if their grievances are not addressed in 2 weeks. General Secretary of the governing National Democratic Congress is asking the police to arrest the vice presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, over what he describes as fabricated claims he made to the Electoral Commission to justify the need for a new voters' roll.
And in business tonight, Bank of Ghana says it is in no position to retrieve depositors' funds from some 70 microfinance firms it ordered to cease operations. And National Media Commission rejects claims new law to regulate the media is seeking to curtail media freedoms. There will also be sports, entertainment, and your social media comments, all in this 2-hour bulletin on Joy News Prime, which is also available across Europe on ABN television, on the Sky platform, as well as Freeview Connect. Welcome to our viewers watching us from Tottenham. Do stay tuned. Some residents of Bruhani in the Tyne district of the Ghana.Video region are seeking to evacuate following the outbreak of pneumococcal meningitis in the area. Some community members who have been speaking with Joy News' correspondent Nesta Kafuya-Jama say they are scared of the disease and do not have any other option than to desert Bruhani.
People of Bruhani in the Tyne district started experiencing symptoms of pneumococcal meningitis a week ago. Initially, only realized the gravity of the situation after a series of deaths. Yahya is a taxi driver in the community who has transported several people with symptoms of the disease to the district hospital at Nsoko. He told Joy News that most people here are scared and want to leave the community.
If you say, a start here, they name say, ABC and a bias. A dark rock, yes, sorry, it will see Nipamiansa. Yet, you can't say, Bessiwa, a day back down, best or acquired you money, see, Ubio.
We are amazed about the number of people that have died so far. We didn't know what exactly it was when it started. We were burying between 2 to 4 people every day. They often die on their way to the hospital. We are really dying here.
Aude has been cleared of pneumococcal meningitis. However, he lives in fear of contracting the bacteria again.
I started from me and me hearing my hearing was and Tia, me that's why Manu now and I bear 2 days no, and I make a draw a dust stone, and I may know me.
It started with pains in my head, dry nose and lips. I got some drugs from the pharmacy and became a bit better.
And the honor now me come so I am here. And I measume insurance or and I made a call your clinic. And I was able to go to the farm the following day. I later realized I was not totally cured, so I went back to the hospital and they attended to me. Me check you know. Yadiano still, that's what I'm young. And I made call doctor, and I'm de family, and I'm calling so. Me calling so, and I'm a drama. Me no more do no so.
I discharge yellowish flames anytime I cough.
Hazwa, na I had to say yellow. Me go one yellow.
Meanwhile, the Tyne District Director of Health Services, Dr. Michael Roxon, has assured the community that the disease control officers are taking charge of the situation.
Well, news just indicate 2 more people have been reportedly infected at Bruhani in the Tyne district of the Brong-Ahafo region. The 2 include a 6-year-old boy who, we're told, has just died. Correspondent Nestor Kafui Ajoma joins me with details. Good evening to you. Nestor, kindly tell us about these 2 new cases.
Yeah, the information I picked up from the community late this afternoon around 4 p.m. indicates that 2 more cases have been identified, and they have been rushed to the Tyne District Hospital at Soko. And these 2 boys, one 11, one 6. The 6-year-old boy, upon arrival at the hospital, was declared dead, but the 11-year-old boy is currently on admission at the hospital, and the health officials are observing him and trying to treat him. This brings the total of cases that have been recorded since the outbreak to 32, and deaths to 8 officially. But I've been trying to speak with the health of officials in the district, but information is not forthcoming. It looks like they are trying to control the scare of the disease now. So they are saying they are not ready now to release information. So we are now relying on the community members for information concerning the disease.
Now, has the medical team which visited the community been able to provide any update about how they are tackling the outbreak and where it originated?
Yeah, the team in the district and in the area is still continuing their contact tracing, and they are still continuing their education on the disease. But they are unable to tell where exactly the disease started off from.
All right, thank you very much, Nestor Kafui Ajoma, joining us from the Brong-Ahafo region on the very latest on the pneumococcal meningitis, which has hit Bruhani in the Tyne district of the Brong-Ahafo region. What we're told is that there have been 2 new cases. Unfortunately, one of them, a 6-year-old boy, has died. And we're staying in the region where thousands of demonstrators on Wednesdays poured out onto the street of the Brong-Ahafo region town of Brekum to protest a recent directive by the Bank of Ghana shutting down the operations of some 70 microfinance firms it says were operating illegally. The demonstrators, clad in red and black, are outraged because the directive effectively denies them access to funds they have deposited with these institutions and are demanding that the institutions are allowed to open so they could at least retrieve their funds. One of the leaders of the demonstrators has threatened they will ensure no government institution or bank operates in the town if the deposits are not refunded in 2 weeks. Joy News correspondent Precious Semevo covered the demonstration for Joy News and joins us with details. Good evening to you, Precious.
Yes, good evening, Israel.
Now, how long has this demonstration been in the works and how did it pan out today?
Well, the demonstration in Brekum this morning lasted for close to 4 hours.
Hello, Precious. It appears we have lost Precious, but the story is that the thousands of demonstrators on Wednesday poured out onto the streets of the Brong-Ahafo region town. They're protesting a recent directive by the Bank of Ghana to shut down the operations of some 70 microfinance firms it says were operating illegally. The demonstrators, some of us you can see on the screens, they were clad in red and black. And they are outraged because they're saying the directive effectively denies them access to funds they have deposited with these institutions and are demanding that the institutions are allowed to open so they could at least retrieve their funds. Now we'll try. We lost Precious Semevo there on the line, but we'll try and reach him again. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana says there is very little it can do as far as retrieving the deposits of the clients of the microfinance institutions which have been shut down are concerned. Raymond Amanfo is the head of other financial institutions at the Bank of Ghana.
For every institution, banks, savings and loan company, finance houses, rural banks, microfinance, there are two stages for licensing. One is where we give you provisional approval, or what we call approval in principle. And it's just a letter informing you that, yes, we have reviewed your application, we are okay with the initial application, but we are giving you certain conditions precedent to the issuance of final license. And the reason is simply this. If you apply with a feasibility report indicating this is what I want to do. You bring your financial projections. You bring us your capital that you want to start a business with. You bring us a brief resume of your key management personnel and shareholders. We look at all this, and if we think that our initial issue is that it's feasible, then we'll give you a provisional approval. Now, the provisional approval is to allow you to now kickstart the actual process of getting the final license, in the sense that you can't tell somebody he should bring the capital at the initial stage because you may decline, and raising capital is expensive. So when the person gets the provisional approval, then it's an indication that if I'm able to meet these conditions, I have the license, more or less. So when we give the conditions under which you should meet, we give you a time frame. Now, the provisional approval or approval in principle is not a license. It's a step towards a license.
Right, so we'll hear more from the Bank of Ghana when we come to the business segment of this bulletin. But we're going back to the demonstration and to Gaskia FM's Precious Semevo, who covered the demonstration of thousands of people who are marching and demanding that the microfinance institutions, which have been shut down by the Bank of Ghana, are reopened. Good evening. Thanks for joining us once again, Precious. So you were telling us about the demonstration and how it panned out today.
Yes, Evans, Ezra, the demonstration lasted close to 4 hours in Brekum. It started from a suburb of Brekum known as Jamdede, and then they marched through the principal street up to Kato Lorry Park, where they were addressed by leaders of the demonstrators, including the municipal chief executive of Brekum, Honorable Poku Bwatiyagam, as well as the Brekum East MP, Dr. Kim Niama. They were all there to address them. And I must say, there were lots of participation. And according to the divisional police commander of Brekum, they brought about 105 police personnel to ensure that peace prevailed during, before, and then after the demonstration. And we can all confirm that it was such a peaceful demonstration.
All right, Precious, you are saying that now one of the leaders of the demonstration is threatening that they will ensure that no government institution or bank operates in the town if their deposits are not refunded in 2 weeks. You're saying the MCE was there. Did he have to say, how did he respond to that?
Well, the MC's response was very simple. He asked them to remain calm and then be patient, because as he put it, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has heard their petition and then their cry, and he will be doing everything possible to ensure that their monies are paid to them. But from the demonstrators, and according to their leader, Alexa Obin, he is saying that, he told me that the reason why they are saying that after 2 weeks, all banks and then government institutions will not function in the home is very simple. Now, he says each licensed institutions such as DKM and then God is Love and the other institutions are into this trouble. Then what is the guarantee that the traditional banks, when they go into trouble, it will not affect their customers? So if that is the case, then no bank or government institution will work in the Brekum municipality. But as whether they will be able to push through their threats we can only wait for the 2 weeks to come. But they also made lots of comments, pointing fingers to some people, including the regional minister, saying that he presided over all this. He is the boss of the Regional Security Council. How come they allowed these institutions to run and then operate for years? And it is now that they saw the need to stop them, as they put it. They were operating illegally, and some of them were even saying that Her Excellency Lordina Mahama encouraged them to invest in these microfinances in the region.
All right, Precious, is there any particular reason why the Brong-Ahafo region in particular happens to be the hardest hit by this central bank directive?
Well, it's not clear, but it's like there are lots of financial institutions dotted around the Brong-Ahafo region, particularly in Kwanza, both north and south. There are lots of microfinances there. Now, when they start operating and then they start, gaining ground, they will start, spreading their tentacles. They come to Sunyani, go to Brekum, go to Goso, and the other towns. And, people here are workers. They work to get their own money. And there are lots of people also outside the country. So when they get their remittances, some of them decide to invest it in an attempt to get more so that they can use it to do what they wish to use it for. But there were calls that as school reopens next week, it will be difficult for them to pay the fees of their awards, and that this situation is also causing a lot of people to lose their lives out of the frustration and the unbearable hardship that this situation has brought on them.
All right. Thank you very much. Gaskia FM's Precious Semerville joining us on the line there from the Brong-Ahafo region. The Ridge Hospital has set up a temporary 10-bed ward to deal with severe congestion at the facility. The hospital saw an influx of patients during the Christmas holidays, compelling doctors to treat patients on benches in the outpatients department. It is not clear why the upsurge in patient numbers, but senior nursing officer at the OPD, Beth Akpabe, says the temporary ward should help ease the pressure.
Authorities of Ridge Hospital say patients will no longer have to receive treatment on benches since they have put up contingency measures in place to deal with the recent congestion at the facility. 10 more beds have been added to the existing capacity of 191 beds. The new facility, known as the OPD Triage, will specifically handle critical cases to free up space in the outpatients department.
Now, due to the opening of the new Triage, we've moved all the emergency cases to the Triage. So as you can see, the OPD is now free. The chairs are now free. First, we were nursing about 35 to 40 patients on the benches here. But now, due to the opening of the new Triage, the place is free for the patients to use now as OPD. No more bench nursing at the OPD now.
So tell us more about this Triage.
This Triage basically is a unit that receives emergency cases that are referred to the Ridge Hospital, and as equally unreferred cases that they brought to the Ridge Hospital for us to nurse. So what we normally do is we triage all the cases over there, and if the place is full, we still resuscitate the patient, and then if we realize that you are a bit okay, that we can refer to a nearest facility for further treatment, refer you to the nearest facility.
So when you say triage, when you triage them, what exactly do you mean by that?
It means you sort out patients who are critically ill. Do you understand? As we have a lot of patients here now, you have to sort them out. Those who are critically ill will be attended to first to save life before others follow. Everybody is a patient who is critically ill, but some are critically ill. Their condition needs urgent attention.
The Ridge Hospital is one of the key referral centers in the Greater Accra region.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. When we come back, we have more stories. Please don't go away. Watching Joy News Prime now to the rest of our stories. And NDC executives in the Ghana.Video constituency have shut the party office and suspended all activities in the area to protest the recent arrest of the former National Health Insurance Authority boss Sylvester Mensah. Mr. Mensah is being investigated in connection with alleged fraud by some NHIS service providers. He was detained by the BNI last Friday after his home was allegedly invaded by armed officers from the bureau. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo visited the constituency and now reports.
This is the Ghana.Video constituency office of the governing National Democratic Congress. This particular office space is usually busy with a lot of activities as party members come around and they hold meetings here in order to strategize and help with the party's campaign. But since last week Friday, this office space has been closed down and the party has stopped all activities in this particular constituency, all in protest of the recent arrest of the former National Health Insurance Scheme boss, Sylvester Mensah. Let's speak to a party executive and find out exactly what their contents are.
We are not holding any meeting. We're telling our people, our supporters and sympathizers to stop any party activity, no branch meeting, no ward meeting, no constituency meeting until we've had a clearance of Mr. Sylvester Mensah, who used to be our former MP of Ghana.Video.
What exactly are the concerns that you have about his recent arrest? The argument is that he was a public officer, so if he's being interrogated over actions he may have undertaken or not undertaken, it's within the rights of the state to do so.
Yes, we are not against any form of investigations. We are just against the manner in which they undertook the arrest, where they ransacked the house, beat up security officers in the house, and realized it wasn't there.
You've issued an ultimatum to the national executives of the party. What exactly is the ultimatum, and what specifically are you demanding of them?
We are demanding of the national executives, knowing clearly how clean Sly is, non-corrupt person, to come out and say and apologize to the way and manner this thing happened. And all those who are behind this act, because we suspect people who are against Sly, who are masterminded this form of arrest, all those who are behind this act to be fished out and be brought to book. We know there is political enemies who have done this.
So in 72 hours, if the national executives of the party don't come out clearly and throw their weight behind Mr. Mensah, what are the options available to you, the executives, beyond this ongoing protest?
We've already told our people not to organize any party activities. After the ultimatum, what we have decided is to sit down. No party activities, no voting. We do nothing about the NDC. We just go. During the polls, we will not take any active part. We'll just let everything go because they have disgraced one man we cherish so much in our constituency.
Within the La Township itself, the NDC executives have also mounted red banners on various electric poles and other tall structures as part of the protest. For Joy News, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, La, Accra.
Now, staying with the governing National Democratic Congress, its General Secretary Johnson Esiedu Nketia wants the vice presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party arrested. Esiedu Nketia is accusing Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia of fabricating evidence to back the NPP's claims that the current electoral roll is bloated and therefore must be changed. He was addressing a news conference on Wednesday on the Electoral Commission's response to the NPP's justification for a new voters' register to be compiled.
General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, explains that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia should be picked up for forging public documents simply to enhance the NPP's argument for the need for a review of the voters' register.
The reason why we are calling for the arrest of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is that I'm not a lawyer, but I have heard people say that if you fabricate public documents, you falsify public documents with the intention of deceiving people, our laws should have a way of dealing with you. In the Supreme Court, they printed fake pink sheets and tendered them in the Supreme Court. All that was done was that the Supreme Court just rejected them. Nothing has happened up to date. And then they come to deceive the Electoral Commission again by printing fake Togolese register. Pick people's pictures on the register and presented them as Togolese, and presented some documentation and writing, you know, French on those things, and claiming it is Togolese register. How can a PhD who wants to be a vice president in this country, how can you sing that low? And so if in a democracy there is no remedy to such things, then what betides the whole country? Because anybody can just go and do photoshopping and then come and present it as the truth. These things were happening on social media, cut somebody's head, put somebody's body there, and so on. But it should not happen when you are presenting evidence to a constitutional body, like the Supreme Court or like the Electoral Commission. And you shouldn't be left off the hook like that. So that is my position. I'm not a lawyer, but even if there are no laws, going forward, Parliament should be looking into such things and finding remedies. Otherwise, our democracy will be in danger.
To the NDC, the NPP's failure to produce evidence concerning the presence of names of nationals from Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast is proof that the NPP had no case at all from the beginning.
Are you saying that the existence of 100 or 200 names in duplicates is so significant that the whole register should be thrown away? And what are you going to put in its place? Since you are not going to have a technology that is 100%, there is always a margin of error. So if you detect something that falls within that margin of error of 0.02, that should not be the basis of throwing away a whole register. And besides that one, there are established methods of cleaning the register, and they are known by all the political parties, and we have been applying all those. The deduplication is there. There is the challenge, the exhibition of the register, and the challenge mechanisms. They are the most robust we have seen and have used so far by all the political parties, irrespective of who is in government. We've used these things over and over the years, and until a better method is detected, we will continue to use the best that is available.
The NDC itself will not be making an official complaint to the police, but expects patriotic citizens to make that move. For Joy News, my name is Kwache Afreniama.
Well, the acting General Secretary of the opposition New Patriotic Party has condemned the call by the NDC General Secretary Johnson Esiedun-Ketia. Nanobi Brahim spoke on the pulse.
I believe that we don't need to reduce politics to a level of mediocrity. And those of us in politics, we don't need to cheapen ourselves like that. The Dr. Baumia and the NPP as a party presented avalanche of documents to the EC. Now, assuming, without admitting that, even if the EC had gone through the documents and they've realized that, or they found out some of the complaints are not tenable, it doesn't mean that there should be a call for the arrest of Dr. Baumia. You see, consistently, Esiedun-Ketia is exposing himself to public ridicule and contempt. Sometimes I find it uncomfortable to respond to raving and rantings of Esiedun-Ketia.
Well, he points to a number of things that amount to what he calls a criminality, for which reason he's asking that Dr. Baumia be arrested. He points to forgery being done for the album that was given to them of the Togolese register, and also for those on the Ghana's electoral which you alleged are underage. He says that all that evidence did not hold water, and that these are fake people you brought up to, as it were, confuse the Electoral Commission. He accuses your party of forgery.
You see, the complaint was lodged to the EC. The complaint was not lodged to the NDC. And therefore, NDC should not be seen holding the brief of EC. You see, to some of us, the conduct of the NDC amply confirms the fact that they are in bed with the EC.
You're watching Joy News Prime, and we're taking a break for business, but there's more politics coming up when we're done with business. There's also international news. Please stay tuned. Right, Etonam has joined me for business. Good evening to you, Etonam.
Hello, Israel.
Right, now I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about the decision by the Bank of Ghana, or the directive to shut down some microfinance institutions and the repercussions we're getting. Now, my problem is that I don't think that the Bank of Ghana is supervising these institutions or playing its regulatory role effectively, but the Bank of Ghana apparently says...
Well, I agree, Israel, but and I think that most of these people who save with these microfinance institutions do not really know the law that much, like maybe you, even some of us do not even know. And so the Bank of Ghana is supposed to regulate well, and apparently it's saying that their hands are tied. With this microfinance institution, not supposed to even take deposits. And people go there and they deposit, and that is an illegality. It says it's fraud. And so if your money is stuck there, they can't do anything about it. Sad.
It's unfortunate. I mean, but somebody has to, so who's supposed to do it?
The Bank of Ghana, and well, they have a regulatory body, the Microfinance Institution Network, who is also saying they are going about doing some sensitization. But you know, here in Ghana especially, we'll have people going to trouble before you see the regulators coming up and saying, we are going to do something, we're going to do something. I don't know.
Right, you take it away.
I don't know. All right, now the Bank of Ghana says there's little it can do to retrieve funds of depositors of the 70 microfinance companies whose licenses have been withdrawn. The companies were banned from operating mainly due to their inability to meet certain regulatory requirements for full operations. The action has since sparked some agitations among a section of depositors who are blaming the central bank for their predicament. Raymond Amanfo is the head of other financial institutions at the Bank of Ghana.
The fact of the matter is that they are not supposed to take deposits. So if you ask me that I don't know whether they are taking deposits, then you are asking me to confirm an illegality. You understand?
I get from you that the Bank of Ghana's hand is tied here, because we could have gone in to get those funds if they were legalized by us. Then we could have gone in to help. Yeah. Now, the fact that they are not legalized...
You see, the point... No, listen. Well, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that if a company is doing an illegal business, right, is doing an illegal business, my duty is to warn the public is doing illegal, hand them over to the security. They deal with it. Because under the laws I operate, I don't have power to prosecute. I don't have any... Mine is that it's an illegality. We advise the security, we close the company, the security handles the... Then it becomes an illegality, it becomes fraud, and they deal with it.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Microfinance Institutions Network is worried about 30% of microfinance companies operating in the country are not properly monitored and regulated because they are not registered with any association. The executive director, Yao Jimfi, tells Joy Business the association is, however, embarking on an intensive 6-month education drive to reverse the trend.
With the support of Ministry of Finance, very soon you will see a lot of other things that will happen by way of public education. And it's going to be very intensive for the next 6 months, just to make sure that the public is also well educated on who to work with when it comes to microfinance business. It will take a form of financial literacy. Once we do that, a lot of people, things will be drummed home to people, just to make sure that they also understand who to work with, the kind of questions you have to ask when you're doing investment, the kind of questions you have to ask when you're borrowing from a microfinance institution. And then even if making a mere inquiry about where to do business with microfinance, how do you go about it? So we are going to put a lot of materials across for everybody to appreciate that you can't just enter into any field and do any business, but rather have a little knowledge about it and then ask the appropriate questions.
Now, government is likely to adopt thresholds in implementing the 1% withholding tax on investment income. This is contrary to the advice by some tax consultants against such approach because of the challenges it comes with. It would be recalled that government suspended the implementation of the withholding tax, which was introduced as part of changes in the revised Income Tax Act. Speaking to Joy Business, head of the tax policy unit at the Finance Ministry, Anthony Jajra, indicated the tax would be implemented again in due course after a review.
If it's left to me alone, it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, because I believe in that tax. We have to establish fairness. I find it very difficult to understand the criticisms. Fairness. Upon reflection, what I think is that if we had brought a threshold to eliminate lower income people, yes, so you bring a level, because somebody gets 100,000 cedis, goes to invest the money, gets 25% on it, does not pay any tax. The same amount, go and buy spare parts, Abusokai, you get profit, GRA is on you, 25%. Government has been smart this time. No, I cannot believe it. That somebody invests so much in treasury bills, somebody gets so much in treasury bills or investment, and the person will not pay any tax on it. I can't believe it. So I think it's a matter of time, and maybe after a good tax education, maybe others will understand. But maybe the first thing is to bring a threshold and get those who are making noise out of it. And consider those who are rich and will not come on radio to make noise.
Added the higher withholding taxes are only meant to enhance tax compliance. He says there's no cause for worry as complaints taxpayers would eventually be spared at least future payments. Now, away from that, the chief executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyo Hosi, says, but for the taxes, consumers would have enjoyed substantial reduction in prices of petroleum products. This follows the almost 30% hike in petroleum products, which came into effect on New Year's Day. Speaking with Joy Business after a press briefing today, Senyo Hosi said consumers must blame the newly introduced taxes for the sharp increase in prices of petroleum products and not importers and exporters.
There's been so much speculation and doubts and suspicion around the price build-up. And also, you know, this parliamentary thing that got out, I don't know who leaked it out, but and there was a suggestion that they gave us, 5%, and then we went round to increase 28%. And the numbers we wouldn't really be talking this tax. It's not my business. You know, our job is to work with government, implement whatever they ask us to do. All right. And a number of taxes were introduced on petrol itself. The revision and all that, the net incremental impact, and I use my words carefully, the incremental impact of the new tax regime for petrol, for instance, is at 86 point something pesos. Then you have for diesel standing at 93.09 pesos, and then for LPG you have 33.6 pesos per kilo. All right, that's been the incremental impact of the tax. All right, but with this tax, a part of it we will be beneficiaries of as BDCs. There's about 15 pesos that's been allocated out of a total 94 or so for us. A part has been allocated for power. A part has been allocated to fund the toll debt. A part has been allocated to fund the road fund. That tax regime is what's really affected the pump price.
Now, civil society group Third World Network is asking government to look into the operations of AngloGold Ashanti. The call follows the suspension of a joint venture agreement between Randgold Resources to redevelop the Obuasi mines. Some industry analysts have maintained the move is just a strategy by AngloGold to get out of the country, looking at the current challenges with gold prices. But the coordinator of the Third World Network, Dr. Yao Graham, says the development shows that there are more questions to be answered by the mining giants.
Close the mine, they are scrambling to find a partner to be able to make the investment. So there have not been enough public questions asked of how we came to be where we are. with Obuasi in relation to Anglo Gold Ashanti. Because we've asked the question about what has AGA done in keeping with the agreement that they signed. We know that the parliamentary oversight that was part of the agreement was not taking place. What else was not taking place, which led us to where we are? We need answers to those questions. And it will be better to get answers to those questions so that the future is better than the past that we had after Anglo Gold Ashanti took over.
So it's Wednesday, 2 days to close the week. Wondering how your investments are looking. John is here to tell us all about it. Tell me, we have some good news today.
Of course, yes, naturally, you would have to have some good and bad news once it has to do with stocks and the other markets, basically. Right. So that's what we are looking at. Today on the Ghana Stock Exchange, we saw about 2 equities trading here today. On the Ghana Exchange, actually, we have EcoBank Ghana and GCB Bank trading. But then, unfortunately, the shareholders of GCB Bank had to lose about 2 pesos to the price of their stocks, whilst EBG returned 1 peso to their investors, basically. But I think total liquidity also suffered on the market today, as we saw almost about 74,900 equities trading at the value of 338,266, basically. Right. This actually dropped the composite index, that's the total value of the market, to almost about 0.08%. You know, yesterday, if you remember, it was 0.08%, and today's dropped because of the activity level on the market to about 0.01%. And then the financial index, which recorded 0.21% yesterday, recording about 0.18%, losing some money in there because of the low activity level. So that's actually the stock market for today, basically.
The CD, is it doing well yesterday? I mean,
the CD was all wow yesterday, but today I think it has some kind of mixed reactions in there, as it gained against the US dollar, but it lost to the British pound, the euro, and gained against the Chinese yuan, basically. So it's about 50-50 to these 4 currencies, actually. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So it's expected, because you can't have a particular asset or a commodity to have all riding, up riding over the period. I think today is a mid-market, and that's quite some fair response to the market, basically.
And the commodity market, is cocoa still losing?
Cocoa still losing. Cocoa still losing.
Not a good news for me.
$84 today to close at $3,056 per metric ton. That is quite a bad news for the country, because for the past almost about 4 months, it's been losing consistently day in, day out. Crude also
oil,
lost
34.
Exactly, now 34. It's still coming down. As I told you last time, analysts are still projecting crude to come somewhere around $27 per barrel, somewhere around the first quarter of this particular year. But of course, gold still has been keeping the momentum. For the past 2 weeks, it's been gaining over the period. I don't know what's actually informing that, because the dollar keeps getting stronger by the day, but gold also keeps keeping the momentum. Let's see what actually is accounting for this, probably. But so far, that has been the market, Eto.
Thank you, John. And that's how we wrap up with the business segment. My name is Eto Namse.
The essence of your life is threatened. I mean, you have to fight with all you've got.
The devolution of powers in Scotland and Wales also tell you that people sometimes want to have some level of independence, some level of freedom, especially when it comes to identity.
You will listen to a lot of people, you will hear a lot of things, and you will have to sit through and decide what is true and what is not true. You have your Bible to guide you, but very often a lot of us will listen to other people as opposed to going back to what the book says.
The biggest problem in underdevelopment is the inability to accept what is blamed on you. You should be able to go inside you and accept that this is my fault.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. The New Patriotic Party is calling for an immediate reversal or review
of the imposition of a 27% hike on petroleum products, which has seen the price of petrol increase from 12 cedis to over 15 cedis per gallon. The NPP says the 27% increase is completely unjustifiable. In a statement signed by Communications Director of the party, Nana Komia, the party explains that the two main determinants of petrol prices, which are the cedi exchange rate and the price of crude oil, have been relatively stable, while the price of crude oil has consistently fallen steeply from $110 in mid-2014 to $37 today. The NPP claims the imposition of the new taxes by government show, quote, a callous, wicked, insensitive and lazy government which quickly, time and again resorts to using state power to financially squeeze the poor Ghanaian consumer, unquote. The NPP is therefore urging the government to revisit the issue and review the taxes urgently to relieve the poor Ghanaian. Still with politics, the incumbent flag bearer of the Convention People's Party has ditched the party and announced his intention to run as an independent candidate in this year's election. In the 2012 presidential debate, Abu Sakara impressed political analysts with his insightful responses to the issues and got a striking figure on the podium. The CPP, however, says there is more to Dr. Sakara's move.
Dr. Abu Sakara emerged on the political scene in 2012 when he was elected as the flag bearer of the CPP. The agronomist impressed many analysts with his delivery at the IEA presidential debate. However, some Ghanaians were disappointed he was unable to get enough votes. The number of spoiled ballots was more than the total votes for his party. His exit, however, is the latest indication that all is not well in the Nkrumah's party. In an interview with Joy News, General Secretary of the CPP described Abu Sakara's move as committing political suicide.
The path of an independent candidate is a path to oblivion. It's a path to a dead end. You know, or rather, he comes, thinks about it, pursues his career through the CPP. It will be difficult for Dr. Sakara. It will be difficult for any other independent candidate. Indeed, it's difficult for all political parties other than the party in government, who have all the resources at their disposal from the state and state apparatus that they use for campaigning. So it's not going to be easy, and we will appeal that he thinks carefully about his decision. We will obviously want all our members, including prominent ones, to remain in the party.
This is not the first time an incumbent leader has left the party. Dr. Papakwesi Indum defected from the party to form the PPP after the 2008 general elections. Many say the exit can be attributed to the advent of Samia Yaba Nkrumah. However, Nia Conference says such resignations are part of a bigger plot to undermine the party's chances of gaining power.
It's something which is used against the party to try and seek to undermine the progress of the party. Is it that people are afraid of the CPP and therefore will resort at every election to this sort of activity to seek to hold back the progress of the party? It's a worrying trend because, you know, if it becomes a pattern, then anybody who's looking at the landscape would wonder whether this is a concerted effort to seek to undermine the party at every election, with one gimmick or another, with one form of sabotage or another. You know, I would like to think not. But if it is, as a party, we are ready to, as I've said, we've got plans going back from April, which has strengthened our branches, has strengthened our structures, and we are at a position where we will come into the culmination of that plan to elect a flag bearer at the end of January. And we have a vigorous election year program, which would deliver hope for Ghanaians, which we hope would deliver a new future for Ghanaians. On what basis does a whole party machinery seek to sideline one particular person? It's a competition, and the competition is going on. As we talk, there are aspirants who are in different regions of the country who are seeking the votes of the delegates, just like in any other political party. So whether it's fright or whether it's not wanting to compete, that's another issue.
Emmanuel Lante for Joy News, Accra.
Meanwhile, Anetu Abu Sakara Foster says the CPP's assessment of the former flag bearer's move is inaccurate, explaining he has a well-thought-out plan to rescue Ghana from economic hardship. Staying with the CPP...
Dr. Abu Sakara emerged...
Staying with the CPP, the party has increased its filing fees for its presidential primaries. This has left many accusing the party of a move that will favor Samia Nkrumah to go unopposed. But General Secretary of the party, Nie Ama Akonfra, has defended the party's decision, saying it is to raise funds for the upcoming campaign. Interior Minister Mark Oyongo is promising a more comprehensive approach to tackling the proliferation of arms in Ghana ahead of the general elections this year. It comes on the back of a number of seizures around the country in recent times. Minister Oyongo is worried the arrests point to the proliferation of arms in the country.
Speaking at a high-level workshop on arms and trade treaty at Dodoa in the Greater Accra region, the minister said the recent retrieval of over 1 million live bullets at Volta region and over 60 firearms in the Ashanti region is worrying.
We saw an increase in weapons seizures by security agencies. Over 1 million ammunition and more than 60 non-civilian weapons of various types were seized by the police in December 2015 alone. The most intriguing and disturbing aspect of the seizures was that the seized weapons are weapons used only by the security agencies and not those used by civilians.
The Arms Trade Treaty, which Ghana ratified in July last year, enjoins all parties to put in place exports and imports control systems on arms. Mr. Oyongo outlined plans to ensure that this aspect of the law becomes practicable in time for the elections later this year.
Our border patrol teams were not allowed to carry firearms. So they patrol the borders, they come into contact with smugglers who are armed, they come in contact with all sorts of people who are armed. But what is the difference now is that we'll send this bill to Parliament, and that bill will empower the immigration officers to carry weapons. And that is going to be the difference.
Speaking at the same event, the Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission, Joan Saple, said the program will ensure they work according to international standards.
United Nations classifies certain activities as transfers. I wouldn't want to use that word. So if weapons are transiting through Ghana to any of the landlocked countries, there's an expectation from the that Ghana will treat it in a certain way.
Up next, we bring you international news. You're watching Joy News Prime Time now for a recap of our top stories. The deadly meningitis outbreak in the Brong-Ahafo region community has claimed yet another life, this time that of a 6-year-old boy, bringing to 8 the number of deaths so far. Clients of microfinance firms recently shut down by the Bank of Ghana have staged a demonstration in another Brong-Ahafo region town, Brekum, vowing to ensure no government institution or bank operates in the area if their grievances are not addressed in 2 weeks. The General Secretary of the governing National Democratic Congress is asking the police to arrest the vice presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, over what he describes as fabricated claims he made to the Electoral Commission to justify the need for a new voters' roll. And in business, the Bank of Ghana says it is in no position to retrieve deposited funds from some 70 microfinance firms it ordered to cease operations. Right now, on to the rest of our stories. And the National Media Commission has denied claims the Content Standards Regulation Law recently passed by Parliament seeks to gag media houses. The law, among others, mandates the Commission to regulate the quality of content published by the media. The NMC says, contrary to assertions it is out to infringe the rights of practitioners, the new law is to help improve standards and weed out bad content.
According to the NMC, it is absolutely necessary that operations of media are regulated to sanitize the airwaves of both radio and television stations. The LI, which was passed into law by Parliament in December last year, gives the National Media Commission full authority to grant and revoke content authorization to any electronic media house. It also compels all radio and television stations to present a particular program to the NMC for content authorization before airing. Also, any electronic media that contravenes the new content law risk closure. Speaking at the inauguration of the Volta Regional Media Advisory Committee in Ho, the chairman of the NMC, Kwesi Jan Apentin, said the passing of the LI is an initiative to ensure media in Ghana conforms with international media standards. He, however, urged the media and broadcasters not to see the introduction of the new law as an initiative to undermine their work, but as a clarification of their responsibilities in the practice of their professions.
For the avoidance of doubt, let me explain that this regulation should not cause any worry to any broadcaster or indeed to the public. All across the world, broadcasting is regulated because broadcasting has such immense reach, immediate reach, that you cannot allow the airwaves to be used in an unregulated manner. And the NMC, with powers conferred on it by the Constitution, has just set out ways by which our broadcasters will conform to international standards. These are standards required throughout the world so that broadcasting will convey decent messages and images, will truly reflect our culture and cultural aspirations, will say who we are. So it is not about punishing broadcasters. It is to clarify the responsibilities of broadcasters to whom we have awarded the opportunities to carry out their business on public airwaves. That is what it is about. So we want to assure all broadcasters that this is not to undermine their ability to do their work, but to enable them to do it knowing clearly what the law permits and does not.
Mr. John Apentin, however, implored the media to be professional in the discharge of their duties before, during, and after the general elections. Nonetheless, with sponsorship from the European Commission, the NMC will set up media advisory committees in all regions to ensure a full interpretation of the Content Standard Regulations 2015 by monitoring operations of the media nationwide. Fred Kwame Asare's report for Joy News.
Well, the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission has been explaining the need for the new content law. He spoke to Joy News' Hannah Odame.
For those working for professionally organized broadcasting stations, nothing will change.
So how exactly will it work?
All that it is saying is that the operator should make sure that people don't use his or her network to abuse the system.
Such as, what are some of the contents that we are talking about here?
Content, for example, that incites ethnic hatred, or content that incites religious hatred. Content that, like Rwanda or in Kenya, can blow the society apart. The Commission will intervene.
How exactly will it intervene?
It will depend on the nature and character of the problem. In the first instance, we would draw the attention of the network operator. At the second instance, we may warn. At the third instance, if it requires sanctioning over a fine, you may fine. If it still continues, and it is of such egregious nature that everybody agrees can blow up the society, that station will go down.
In effect, now you have to bite.
We do not like seeing ourselves with those dog metaphors. But if that helps with public understanding, what we are saying is that we are prepared.
Commercial drivers at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle area are getting ready to relocate following a directive by the Urban Roads Department. The relocation is to allow contractors working on the interchange to freehand to go about
their work. The drivers are yet to know where they will be relocated, but are hopeful that information will be supplied when they have their final meeting with officials of the Urban Roads Department. Derek Akosam has been speaking with some of the drivers and traders.
For 3 decades, they've been plying their trade here. This is where they earn some money to take care of their families. But it appears they may have to say goodbye, albeit for a short time. As the construction work goes on, the Department of Urban Roads would want to relocate the drivers here to a different place. But how will this affect them? Let's talk to some of them. Now, I understand that you will be relocated. How true is this?
It's true that we are going to be relocated, but we are going to have the final meeting with the Urban Roads on tomorrow, 11 o'clock. That will determine our fate.
I hear the relocation has to do with the construction work going on. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true.
So if you are relocated, do you have an idea as to where you would go to?
Unless we have the final meeting with the Urban Roads, because right now I can't tell you where we are going now.
What effects will this relocation have on you?
Because it's going to affect us very much, because the passengers coming to board our cars will be stranded over here. But we will be looking for leaving the porters here for them to just the passengers where the stations are, so that when they they will come here. And when they come here, the station is not here, they will be stranded. So the porters will be here directing the passengers and telling them where the stations are.
Before people got to know where we are relocated, it will take time. That's our problem.
But I hear the relocation is because they want you to have a better station.
Exactly.
You don't think it's a good idea?
Yeah, it's a very good idea, but how passengers will know where we will be standing and load, that's our problem now.
What would you do?
So I think we have to advertise, talk to people. I mean, maybe have some megaphone shouting, hey, we will be leaving to this place at this, so until they finish the project.
When they started this project, they told us very soon they will locate us to a new place. So we are aware of. So getting to the Christmas, they inform us after Christmas they will locate us to a new place so that they will, re-level this place. And then
we're taking a break, after which we'll bring you entertainment. Don't go away.
Entertainment news.
Entertainment, Miss G, good evening to you.
Good evening, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
Very well, thank you as well.
You know, you've been, well, I give out chocolates during
yes,
the holidays.
Yes.
I know you've been bugging me for your chocolates.
Because I'm surprised that you gave a lot of people chocolates and...
Because I never got to see you.
Oh.
So here you have it. It's gonna be here for you. It's a pack of... No, you have to stretch. It's still there for you.
Let me be sure that it's by me, you know.
Nobody's going to take it away.
I can't be sure of that, you know.
Well, it's export grade, I'm told, by Golden Tree, from Golden Tree, our own Golden Tree.
Yes, this is our own chocolates. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so
you're
much.
Welcome. What's coming up?
Okay, so a lot coming up in entertainment. You know, Ms. V had a fantastic 2015. Talk about her End Poverty project with the World Bank, and then she said she had the collaboration of her life. That's the collaboration with her own mentor and the sister in the industry, Efia.
Yeah.
And then also she's had some good things happening for her in 2015. But she said she had at a point in time shed tears because her father fell ill as well in 2015.
Oh.
Aside all that, she's poised for 2016.
So she was talking about her year?
Yeah, that's her 2015. Now she's poised for 2016. She says that she's coming up with a high school project. And of course, she's been telling me her favorite subjects.
I think one of the good things that also happened, I think she got some product endorsements.
Okay, product endorsements, and then BET.
That brought her money.
Yeah, but the World Bank brought her much more money.
Really?
Yeah.
So she's gonna. Oh well, Chatawale said he earned what? Did you almost swear?
Israel.
TV?
Israel. Let's talk about Ms. V.
Okay. Let's hear what Ms. V has to say.
Yes. So, and of course, she's been talking about.
I cried a little bit, but I knew he'll be fine, so yeah.
Do you believe in resolutions?
I do, but you see, there's more to it than just saying it. So resolutions, people say a lot. Oh, my New Year's resolution is to, get this and this, but actually doing it is very different. So yeah.
Your high school project. Yeah. Now, before we even got talking, I heard one of my colleagues asking whether it was a feminist thing.
It's not feminist. We're just, supporting the girls a little bit more.
You know this song, I'm a natural girl. Yeah. Nah. Don't you hear guys sing it?
Listen, when I perform this song at shows, the guys sing it more than the girls. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's just maybe fun for them or something, but they sing it more than the girls do, and I love it. I love it. My high school tour, the guys are also invited to come and listen and mingle, just socialize, just listen to what I have to say, and yeah. So I'm not going alone. I have very important people in society coming to talk to them as well. So people in the industry as well. So yeah.
When you were in school, which of the subjects was that difficult for you?
Difficult. I didn't like clothing and textiles. I did clothing and textiles. I hated it because I have bad eyesight, so I really struggled at doing it.
So why did you choose a course like that?
I did home economics. Honestly speaking, let me tell you the truth. I chose home economics because I didn't want to learn a lot, but when I started doing it, oh my God, it's the most difficult thing I've ever done. It's very involving, especially the practical aspect. A lot of people have this idea about home economics, visual arts, that, it's the lesser, it's one of those lesser courses in schools, but honestly, it's very hard, very, very hard.
What grade did you make in that?
I don't remember, but I think I had a C or something. C is good enough for clothing and textiles because I didn't like it at all. It was really involving, too tiring.
You were at Central University and things didn't go well and you had to leave. And I know you started school all over again. Just narrate that story to us. What really happened and how did you pick up yourself?
What do you mean things didn't go well?
I heard there were some papers that didn't go well, and so I didn't know whether...
Oh yeah, I think I had a D in math. I hated math. Okay, I didn't hate it. I loved it, but I don't know, I was just very lazy at working math, and so yeah, I paused school to rewrite it to get a better grade, and then I started Ghana Technology University. You want to give me right, go high, high, oh my baby.
Oh, quite eloquent, Ms. V.
Yeah. Cheers. You can trust that. All right, so...
Are you luring me to say something else about Ms. V so that you can take me up on that?
What are you going to say about her this time around?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing...
I'm not going to fall for it.
I thought you were going to pass the same comment as you did for Yvonne yesterday.
Which is what you want, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay, I guess I know why you're not saying that about her, because the body types are too different. Anyway, so... Amachidede. Oh, no. Why do you have that?
Amachidede.
Yes. Amachidede finally has been told about the death of his manager. Now, today he's been speaking to the media. He says that the death of his manager is one that took him, of course, by surprise. And he describes the man as an irreplaceable person. And also he's been saying thanks to President Mahama, who took time off his busy schedule to visit him. Also thanks to Nana Akufo-Addo as well. And also thanks to Ghanaians, for the prayers, the support and all that. Fuse ODG called for prayers for him. So he heard about all that and he's so glad that a lot of Ghanaians are thinking about him. He's grateful to Ghanaians, yeah.
You should go visit him.
Sure, we will be visiting him.
You should go visit.
I would go visit the serious man, soon, and I'll bring you details from the hospital. Sure.
So that's a vehicle, their vehicle that was run into by the Mercedes-Benz bus. That's Amachidede himself. I'm sure he's feeling a lot better now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right.
So let's talk about Davido. Davido has been in the news a while now after he and Dele Momodu took to social media to watch their Dirty Linen. Davido was hospitalized for stress. Everybody's thinking that he had to do with family stress, of course,
But if you have to, be squabbling with people, you're definitely going to be stressed out.
Exactly.
You're a creative person.
Especially when you don't have the heart to do that. So he's been hospitalized. He's posted pictures of him being in the hospital and again saying that he's eager, to go back to the studio to work on a remix and also eager to go perform in Niger where he has booked some appointments and some performances. So Davido is getting himself ready for work. No more squabbles
and no more spats with people.
That's it. But Dele Momodu has been saying that we're going to see who really smokes cannabis, whether it's truly his nephew or cousin, his cousin, Sophia Momodu, or
Davido himself.
Does it mean that he intends to like out him on that?
Yes, because you know the reports that Davido posted on social media had to do with the fact that their baby fell ill because Sophia Mumudu was taking in a lot of cannabis, and so that infected the lungs of this young baby. And so Chief says, look, we'll find out soon.
So what? He's going to show some... Okay.
Well, let's see how that unfolds. And, you know, these people, I don't know when this is going to end. Right. I just hope somebody puts them to order. We're tired of hearing this story.
They should.
All right. So Wizkid's baby mama posted a picture of her son, Wizkid's son, and she herself, you know, on social media, and everybody was like, oh, she looks like a very more decent woman, and why is Wizkid not with her? And Wizkid says, okay, enough of that. Now he goes to say that it's Omotayo who is going to be, that's Tonya, that's the girlfriend, who is going to be his love. And so instead of people talking, instead of answering them, he decides to post a picture of he and Tanya on vacation, you know. So he says that it's T forever.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it's a baby mama drama from Davido. Now it's Wizkid, you know, but you know Davido also said that there's no way he's marrying Sophia. So I wonder why these people go for these ladies to have a child with them and then they're looking elsewhere.
I mean, you can never tell. There's some reason why somebody loves somebody. So even though we may see this lady and think she's a really decent woman, probably that's not what Wizkid is looking for.
Anyway, well, they say decent doesn't pay in show business. That's what they say. That's what they say.
Wow.
Okay, so finally, Whoopi Goldberg is screaming that she's American. You know, before now, she used to say she's African American, and all of a sudden, she's screaming to be noticed as an American rather than an African American that she has been portraying herself to be all this while. On The View,
Why?
On The View with some other panelists. Now, the issue came up that if Donald Trump becomes president, some African Americans would need to run to seek refuge somewhere. No, she was all over the place.
So all because of Trump.
The man is not president yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
He probably may never be president.
You know, because you're the same people going to vote for him. And so if you're not voting for him, why are you worried that, you know, he might let you go elsewhere? Yeah, so that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. G, for bringing us entertainment as usual and bringing us all the hot gossips.
Yeah.
And that's it for entertainment. But up next, we're bringing you sports with Gary Smith. Please stay tuned. Right, so on sports tonight, it's been several weeks and several months since, other, clubs or Premier Leagues of various countries have started.
Months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yet we haven't started ours.
Yes, because we ended quite late, to be fair.
Okay, but why did we end late? And why
I get your point.
Why are we not starting? What is the problem?
The problem, there's this advert. What's your problem? It says, your phone. So probably there's something they have to do that they are not doing, but it has to do with litigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've been given some advice apparently.
Yes, I'll cover that as well.
All right. Okay, take it away.
Thank you, and welcome to the Sport on Prime. Hello, I'm Gary Smith. Today we cover Ghana, we go to Africa, and then we go around the world. First, at home, George Efrie, Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, is advising clubs on how to position themselves to attract sponsorship in this year 2016.
Let me touch on how clubs can also organize themselves to attract sponsorship. It is a common fact that yes, our economy is not so strong and robust to attract bigger sponsorship as far as the corporate world is concerned. But no matter what, if we are able to brand ourselves in some way, we'll be able to attract, no matter how difficult the market is, there are always some opportunities out there for us. So I'm saying that let us also position ourselves in such a way that we will be attractive to the corporate world. What am I referring to? Take, for instance, my own Liberty Professionals. In the locality that we operate, in the Dansoman community, there are a lot of small businesses around. How have we appealed to them? How have we even positioned ourselves to the small, the loan company, the savings and loans companies, the banks around, the manufacturing petty businesses around? What have we done? We sit and hoping that, oh, manna will just come or somebody will just walk to us. Have we even contracted somebody to say that, yes, you are a marketer? Go in out there, get us even 100,000 Ghana cedi or 50,000 Ghana or 30,000 in return for even a 10% or 15%. What have we done? I think that we as clubs also need to position ourselves to attract some level of sponsorship to augment whatever we are getting from the central office.
A very impassioned speech from George Afriye there. He's a member of the executive committee, and according to him, the outfit is taking steps to let clubs know how to make sure that when they have ineligible players, the players won't be fielded before any match is played. You remember the issue with Hart and Kotoko last season. He wants that to stop in the next Premier League season.
Yeah, which is also disturbing, of which the executive committee has taken steps to address, is cautions. That is, when I say cautions, I'm referring to the yellow cards and red cards where people protest to get points. It is so simple in modern football. If Club A is going to play Club B, what stops the FA for publishing all the names of players who are not eligible for that particular match? Must somebody necessarily protest for that point? You can curtail or you can stop that by putting out the names of players who are ineligible to play in that particular match. That is what happens even in CAF and FIFA. You understand? By so doing, we curtail and we try to limit the times and the litigations. So I think that there are few things, if we are able to strengthen, this will help.
That was George Afriye there. Tomorrow, Thursday, in Abuja, Nigeria, the continent's eyes will be on 3 young men: Yaya Toure, Andre Ayew, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. One of them will be named the African Footballer of the Year for 2015. Who's your vote on? We've been having several votes, and on our Twitter feed on Joy 99.7 FM and also Joy News on TV. However, this afternoon I spoke to African football specialist Oluwashina Okeleji of the BBC, who says the man from Gabon must win it.
It should be the CAF African Footballer of the Year. I mean, Yaya Toure has won it 4 times in a row. At the time, some people doubted why he should be voted, but this time around, I think it's the year of the Gabonese Panthers, and I think he deserves it.
Of chances, okay. But for the Ghanaian interest, why isn't Andre Ayew in your top picks for the award?
Well, I think no doubt about it. He had a fantastic run for Ghana at the African Cup of Nations. He practically had a good run with the Black Stars. He helped them into the finals, and they lost out, where they narrowly lost out to Ivory Coast by a penalty shootout. No doubt about it. And he also started the English Premier League season like a house on fire. His first month in the English Premier League was unbelievable. I mean, a lot of people doubted whether I could settle down in the English Premier League. So for me, I think he started well. But when you look at consistency, I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been consistent all year long.
Yaya Toure nominated for what? The 7th year in a row. That is amazing. Andre Ayew looking to win it for the first time. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also looking to win it for the first time. We spoke to Oluwashina there from France earlier, and we go back to France to speak to this man. Oluwada Lofty is an African football blogger also based in France, and we'll speak to him now. Hello, Wada. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for your invitation.
Yes, so tomorrow is the big day, the day most of us African football fans have been waiting for. Are you for the man from Gabon, the man from Ghana, or the man from the Ivory Coast?
Personally, I would say, in my opinion, that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should win it because, as many said, he has been consistent in every month of the year. But my head say that Yaya Toure will win it because these types of awards, in my opinion, are more won by fame than by performances.
Now, the interesting thing is that these 3 players have had quite good years, but take us briefly through why you feel your choice must win.
I think my choice on I choose Aubameyang. I think, in my opinion, he should win because he has reached height in terms of statistics and in terms of level with Dortmund that haven't been reached by an African player since I would say Samuel Eto'o in terms of statistics. So in my opinion, and even his AFCON with Gabon wasn't that bad, to be honest.
Okay, now let's take a look at the statistics from our poll earlier this afternoon. So we put this question out there. Can Andre Ayew finally beat Yaya Toure to the 2015 African Player of the Year award on Thursday? Now, producer, if you could just click one of these for us to reveal the results, that will be very ace. Yes? Now, 65% of you feel that it will be impossible for Andre Ayew to win. 35% feel that he can easily win. Let me go back to Oluwada Lofty. Wada, most of our people feel that this is not Andre Ayew's year. He did well in France. He's done well in England. But a lot of people still feel he has to do more. Question, what does he have to do to win the African Footballer of the Year?
Personally, I think, as said previously, he had to be, he had to be more, I would say he had to be more brilliant and more popular because, as said before, these awards are won on popularity and how you can mark the year with for instance, very impressive goals, or everybody, for instance, remember Yaya Toure long-range shot, or Aubameyang Aubameyang solo finish. But for Andre Ayew, for instance, you don't have these types of very marking goals, and I think it's crucial for the average African and even for the people who are voting to have these key moments in the mind to be impressed by a player and to vote for this player who has impressed them the most.
Okay, quickly, let's go through some of the other categories. This year, we have Nigeria up for the team of the year because they are under 17 team, did so well at the World Cup. Take us through that category as well.
Nigeria, they have the Nigeria under 17 team is challenging for the team of the year award, if I'm not wrong, with TP Mazembe, Orlando Pirates, and one of Mali youth teams.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, and it's generally all time the case that TP Mazembe will win it because they won the CAF Champions League, and generally the CAF Champions League winner is crowned the team of the year in Africa.
Okay. All right. Wada, finally, Avram Grant does not make the Coach of the Year category this year, even though Ghana plays second. And so in the Coach of the Year, we have Hervé Renard, who won the African Cup of Nations with Ivory Coast. You have the coach of TP Mazembe, Patrice Carteron. You think it's fair that Avram Grant didn't make the list?
When I see the list, I think it's a certain way fair because if you see the picking, CAF didn't choose the easy way. They took all the winning teams of the year and they took again their coaches. So I think on this criteria it's fair enough to say that he didn't deserve to be there, considering that there's Emmanuel Amunike who won the under 17 World Cup, Fawzi Benzarti who won the CAF Confederation Cup, Patrice Carteron who won the Champions League. So it's in this criteria. Yes, he doesn't deserve to be there.
Okay. Oluwada Lofty, African football analyst based in France and blogger as well, saying that Avram Grant does not deserve to be in the Coach of the Year category. We will find out who wins when the announcement is made in Abuja. But for now, Wada, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your invitation again.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the African Player of the Year award. If we can now go to our final story before we take leave of you on the sport. Now, 2016 promises to be an exciting year in sport. From major international qualifiers to the biggest multi-sport event in the world. Sports fans will have more than enough to feast on. And let's get this in a special report, the things we expect to see in 2016. My producer tells me that we don't have a lot of time because of that extended interview. We will show it tomorrow on Sports Today. My name is Gary Al Smith. Thank you very much for staying with us. Get more, especially on the CAF Awards, on myjoyonline.com/sports.